Changes in diabetic eye. So again, this is a bit of a run through so that we're sharing a black screen here. Oh, that's interesting. Can you see that?
Yep, looks good.
Right. Okay. So this is like all textbook stuff. Key changes in diabetic eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to, in the chat, you're going to tell me what these things are. All right, so this is pretending that you're getting the slides in your exam. Cotton wool spots, yes, they are. So these are cotton wool spots. So these are the swollen bodies that occur in the nerve fiber layer. Yep, in diabetes. Well done. Okay, let's have a go at another one. What are these ones? These things here. Hard exudates, hex. Okay, I like that. So these are the hard exudates that are occurring between the outer and inner nuclear layers. Yep, in diabetes. Well done. And there's also a bit of separation of the down there as well. I think it's a bit of a edema or exudate here because that's what these are. They're kind of proteinaceous deposits. Okay. Well, that's a bit pale, but sometimes the slides are pale. And what are these? Where are we? So these are degenerate photoreceptors here. Yeah, these are cystoid edema. So cystoid edema probably here underneath, and these are hard exudates again. Okay. These, what's happening here? What's this stuff? What's this red stuff, do you think? It's all through all the layers. Dot blot. Yep, it's hemorrhage. That's right. So this could be any kind of hemorrhage actually, because we can't tell, but it could be dot and blot hemorrhage. Yep, well done. Okay, here we're going to look at this thing here. What's this? It's a vessel. This is it's a hyalinized vessel. I'm not sure what ERMA is. And then we've got this thing here. Why is this gone blank here? So this is a hyalinized vessel. This is a, what's ERMA, people? Oh, that was Jan. What? Yeah, Jan. What's ERMA?
We're learning all these new acronyms. It's just as bad as gynecology.
Oh, retinal microvascular abnormality. Okay. Yeah. But what's this thing here? What's this thing here now? There's some pigment here. Pigment here. It's a laser spot. Well done. So we've got a laser spot here. This is what a burn looks like. Okay, this thing here. What's this thing? Hyalinized vessel. Well done. This is the hyalinized wall here in diabetes. And here, okay, we've got a variety of things going on here. So we've got, this is the choroid, this is the retina, the photoreceptors are degenerate, so it's probably real. And there's a whole lot of pigmented macrophages in it. So what is this? A subretinal exudate. Perfect. Well done. Now, what's happening in this diabetic retina? We've got this thing here, which is a hyalinized vessel, and we've got this thing here, which is a subretinal exudate. Good. All right. So this is all right. So this is the optic nerve. This is the retina, and then we've got this stuff here in the anterior part of the optic nerve, which has got a few red cells in it. And here it is again, higher power. This is neovascularization. All right. Here we've got a vessel. Then we've got a bit of retina that's lifted off, and here we've got some RPE hyperplasia and loss of the outer nuclear layer. So this is a laser burn. Good. And here we're in the anterior part. We've got this hyalinized ciliary body. And here we've got this happening here. What's happening here? vacuolization of the iris pigment epithelium. Good. And this is it at high power, vacuolation of the iris pigment epithelium. And the front of this iris is looking suspiciously flat. So I would be looking for new vessels happening there. All right. And that was the end of common changes seen in the diabetic eye. So that's a quick revision. Well done, everyone, for picking those up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and look at a diabetic eye. So if you go to the schedule, and this is one where I get to show you it first, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll do tutor first for these two, and then we'll do student groups afterwards.
Okay, so looking at low power at this eye, I noticed there's no tumor.
Oh,
I noticed...
not sharing.
Oh, sure. Thanks so much.
And so we don't want to give two sets of explanations. So this is the time to ask your chat questions. So we're not going to go into breakout rooms and then come back and talk about it yet again.
And Amanda's going to monitor the chat, and I'm going to chat. Right, so this is an eye. We've got the front of the eye, there's the pupil. We don't have the optic nerve seen very well. I can see that the epithelium is lifted off the cornea, probably artifactual. I can see that there's ectropia nuveae and that there's probably anterior synechii. The lens isn't looking quite perfect because there's kind of some things happening around here. The retina's off except around here, and I can see that there's no exudate, so it may well be artifactual. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is probably a glaucomatous eye. So here we go, going closer to the... Right, so the cornea looks all right. There's good endothelial cells here. Yeah. Look at this here. That's a bit weird.
What's this tigroid change?
Yeah, that's weird, eh? So I go, it's weird. And I think, why would the epithelium grow in these strange ways? So here we've got Bowman's membrane, right? And here we've got this epithelium growing in a strange way with lots of basement membrane underneath it. So could it be a strange basement membrane kind of dystrophy, one of those map dot fingerprint thingies? Yes, it could be. Or it could just be regrowth from an area that was previously ulcerated. But if it was map dot fingerprint, you'd kind of think it might be somewhere else as well. Who else would do this? Theo Binky might do this. I've probably said it wrong. But yeah, so there's an abnormality here. Yeah, so I'd be wondering about an epithelial dystrophy. Here we go. And this is the closed angle. Here we have the trabecular meshwork and the canal of Schlemm here. And we have the angle that is closed. So I'm going to look for new vessels because it's very definitely an ironing board iris. There's a couple of pigmented macrophages hanging about. So the way I do it is I scroll through and can't see them very well. Oh, maybe there's some here. Here we go. Here's some nice new ones here, as opposed to the hyalinized ones, and a beautiful ectropia nuveae. Gorgeous. And then here we've got the hyalinized ciliary body. Briefly moving to the lens here, which I was slightly suspicious of something that might be happening in the lens because it wasn't quite right at low power. So I'm going to look here, and here we've got the anterior capsule, and then there's a whole lot of fibrous tissue here, isn't there? So I'm thinking that probably this is an anterior subcapsular cataract. Now, as I was looking around, there wasn't a lot of lacy change in the epithelium of the posterior iris. So I'm still pretty open for what's happening to cause this diabetes, not this diabetic change, this neovascular glaucoma. I haven't proven it's diabetes yet. So the absence of lace doesn't mean that it's not diabetes. It's a confirmatory thing when it's there. Looking around here. All right, we are coming to the retina here, which has been artifactually detached because the photoreceptors are looking okay. So what do we think of this retina? There's a mild disruption here. I'll probably come a bit close to it. I'll just...
Oh gosh, are there any ganglion cells there?
No, there really isn't. There's no ganglion cells here at all, is there, as we move along? I can't see any retinal burns yet. I'm just going to Maybe make it slightly further away. Okay, hyalinized vessels. I haven't seen any really great ones yet, but no ganglion cells. Oh, look, there's a bit of cystoid edema here, isn't there? That's a bit interesting. The fact there's quite a lot of it here. I think that's real. There's so much of it. But no ganglion cells. I can't see any particular indication of a diabetic eye here. Oh, until we get to here. Here we go. Right, so I'm going to zoom on up a bit on this bit. Right, is that, no, that's probably not, no, that's not quite a hyalinized vessel. But I'm definitely here thinking of hyalinized vessels and hard exudates and cotton wool spot. This is just so much edema. All right, and then we come to some gliosis. So I'm thinking, Amanda, this might be gliosis here because we've got an outer nuclear layer, an inner nuclear layer, and some disruption here. So, and then I'm also noticing this really odd wrinkling of the nerve fiber layer. Can you see that?
It's so undulating, like waves on the sea.
That this probably happens when there's an epiretinal membrane, which might have lifted off, she says, and be out here. Right, so this could be an epiretinal membrane, and that's what it looks like when you get an epiretinal membrane.
Oh, here we go. There, look.
And then suddenly, look, here we go, epiretinal membrane and a whole lot of vascularization. Yes. So we've got gliosis of the retina, and then we've got a bunch of new vessels. This nerve fiber layer is really gliotic. I say it's gliotic because it's got lots of astrocytes in it as well, rather than...
So can you point out those astrocyte nuclei again? So
I can. They're these things here.
So that they're long sausage-shaped ones.
They're sausages, yeah. They are
not round-shaped. Okay.
No, not round like ganglion cells and things.
Okay. Right. So is there disorganization of the inner retina layers?
There is. There's very much disorganization of the inner retinal layers.
And this area, but not where we were before.
No, that was all right.
So gliosis is, so just explain the relationship between gliosis and astrocytes.
All right, so astrocytes produce glial tissue. They're a little bit like the Schwann cells of the central nervous system. They produce the connective tissue of the central nervous system, and the long fibrillary processes form the connective tissue of the central nervous system.
Astrocytes make gliosis.
Yeah, they do. Sorry, that was a much simpler explanation. All right, so in summary, I think we've got here an eye that is glaucomatous. It's got neovascular glaucoma with anterior synechiae and ectropion uvei. It's got a cataractus lens with an anterior subcapsular cataract. It's got lots and lots of retinal edema. It's got an epiretinal membrane with wrinkling of the retinal face and gliosis and disorganization of the inner retinal layers. I haven't been able to find any definite indications of any exudates, but the presence of this epiretinal membrane and the anterior rubeotic glaucoma suggests to me that this is probably diabetes, despite the lack of vacuolation there.
And and the cornea.
And the cornea, yes.
The peripheral cornea has got those unusual
some strange changes that might be an epithelial dystrophy.
Yeah. Have you ever seen anything like that as an artifact from treatment effects?
No. I think this might be a real thing.
Why would you say this? Why would you not say this would be CRVO?
All right. So this is something where clinical experience from you guys might come in better. Do you get such a lot of epiretinal membranes in CRVO? Because I don't know. Yes, you do. Can get it. So maybe I should pull back on my diagnosis and say this is an eye with neovascular glaucoma.
Yeah. So like, yeah. I mean, almost all causes of ischemia could be in, couldn't they?
Yeah, there could be any cause of ischemia could be in. Yeah.
Chronic features too. This didn't happen yesterday, so
yeah.
And do we conclude it's glaucomatous because of the loss of the ganglion cells? Because it's true, we can't see the optic nerve and cupping, can we?
Can't, no. So there's lots of ganglion cells, plus the angles are closed.
Yeah, why don't we go into the breakouts and discuss?
All right. Okay. So we're going to breakouts, and I will stop sharing. I will pause recording. I've recorded. All right. So this is the next slide. So this is the type B way to do it. Here we go. So this is a globe. We can see it's not got a tumor in. I can see it's not quite transpupillary. Cornea looks normal. Ciliary body looks normal. Lens looks normal. I wonder what that blob is. Appears to be an artifactual retinal detachment because there's no exudate. We don't quite have the optic nerve. Here's the retina. There's something under the retina, and the rest of it looks all right. So moving in.
Ask your questions now because there'll be no follow-up tutor group session.
Right, here we go. So here is the normal. Normal cornea looks normal, and still looks normal, looks completely normal. The angle. Right, so sectioning has broken this angle apart a bit, so it's really hard to see what's happening in the angle. I do notice that the front of the iris is corrugated like normal, and there appears to be no new vessels. Let's have a look at the other angle. And this angle looks pretty good. All right. It's probably not an anterior synechia. I think it looks all right. And there's hyalinization of the ciliary body, but otherwise okay. The lens, the most forgotten part histologically, I think looks pretty good. We've got some separation between cortex and nucleus, which is okay, and everything looks all right there. So we'll go round to the retina. What's this blob that I saw at low power? Ah, this blob is truly a blob.
Oh, it's crud.
It's crud. It's crud. Yeah, so just lying over the top means it's lying over the top of the retina. It's crud. Yeah.
It's dandruff from the technical staff cutting the slide.
All right, as we go around to the peripheral retinal here, let's have a look at that here. So we've got, it's quite thin. We do have a few ganglion cells, but they are slightly reduced, aren't they? And I don't think they give you a glaucoma that was an open angle, primary open angle without anything else much happening. There was something at the back here. All right, okay, things are starting to happen here. Let's have a look at the retina a bit better. All right, so this is just torn, right? But we do not have many ganglion cells. What we've got is we've got the choroid and we've got the photoreceptors, and then we've got this layer of pink stuff. So we've got a subretinal exudate, and then we've got outer nuclear, inner nuclear, and some ganglion cells through here, but not a whole heap. All right, and then the subretinal exudate just gets better. It gets better and better.
Worse and worse.
I mean, worse and worse. Yes, and
bigger and bigger.
Bigger and bigger. Yeah, more easier to see. So we've still got outer, inner, and ganglion cells as we crawl towards the macula. And as we crawl towards the macula, we've got, you've got this really thick layer here, which has got blood vessels in it now, and lots and lots of collagen. So we'd had a subretinal exudate, but now we've got an area of fibrovascular proliferation forming a scar, and the overlying retina is starting to look edematous. There's the scar thing happening.
Oh, is that an exudate?
It could just be the fibrous tissue, or it could be a hard exudate. I'm not like 100%.
In the inner nuclear layer.
Inner nuclear layer? This one?
Yeah, those ones, possibly.
Those ones, what are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Those are hard exudates for sure. Now we've pointed them out. They're pink and blobby.
And where are the ganglion cells? Are there lots
Cells
here?
are here, right? So we've got outer, inner ganglion cells. The ganglion cells are mysteriously still there. So what team, what do you think the diagnosis is here?
Okay, we have a bit of, so AMD, disciform scar, AMD, choroidal neovascular membranes, that sort of thing.
Okay, so this was subretinal. It wasn't in the choroid. So, so disciform scar is, I think, its description, and are they usually associated with age-related macular degeneration?
And there's one question: could you comment on the cellularity of the iris compared with the last specimen?
And can we show us Brooks as well? Cellularity of the iris. Right, so this is a pretty normal cellularity iris. It's this is normal.
Oh, you know, one difference between irises is whether it's a blue iris or a brown iris. That can also make it look quite different, whereas both of those, of course, are normal variants. What's the difference? Is this a blue-eyed or brown-eyed person, Diane?
This is a blue-eyed person. Yeah, because they've not got pigment in the iris. Right, Brooks membrane. Here we go. Let's go back to this interesting bit at the back. So we've got to start somewhere away from the pathology. This is a slightly older eye because we don't often get eyes for disciform degeneration. So it was like cut before the 1970s. Right, here we go, Brooks membrane. Right, here we go, this pink line here. With the RPE underneath it. Let's have a little look. Here, following it along. Following it along. Following along. It's not easy to see. It's kind of almost gone here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's become part of that.
Yeah.
Exudate stuff.
Same color of the exudate here.
Yeah. Now, Alex has got a question I don't quite understand. Perhaps you can unmute yourself and ask that verbally.
Sorry, I was just asking to differentiate, like, as far as if it's on top of Brooks or under Brooks, saying if it's a type 1 or a type 2.
All right, it's on top of.
Yeah.
It's so in the interior too.
Cool.
Yeah, because here we've got the photoreceptors floating free. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, time for you guys to look at the slides. Stop share. Pause record.